One of the biggest challenges of living in pandemic times is knowing when it's safe to resume a sense of normal. Now that vaccines are becoming more widely available, there's a measure of hope that such a reality may come sooner rather than later. But the world is abuzz with the idea of a digital passport. Countries like Israel have introduced a domestic green pass to allow citizens gain entrance into cinemas and entertainment areas. What exactly is a digital passport and how will it enhance cross-border travel? That's our interest on the program. Welcome to Aviation This Week on Channels Television, your one-stop shop for happenings in the aviation industry. I'm Bukola Joe Oketumbi. On this edition, we're talking digital passport as the European Union on July 1st rolled out its vaccine passport across all 27 member nations. The certification can be issued if a citizen has been vaccinated against COVID-19 or has a negative PCR test for the virus or recovered from COVID-19. Anyone holding a certificate should, in principle, be exempted from testing or quarantine when crossing an international border. What does this portend for international travel? That's our interest on the program. Plus, IBOM Air adds Port Harcourt as a sixth destination. Come along on this flight.
Aviation reopening is back as passengers across the world take to the skies and to summer holidays. No thanks to the coronavirus vaccine. However, many don't want to give the virus a chance to return as new variants are popping up in some areas. One solution that is getting traction is a vaccine passport, which could allow people to prove they've been vaccinated against COVID-19 in order to return to certain activities, such as flying internationally and not even wearing masks. From the economic point of view, the issuance of a vaccine passport will speed up travel and population flow and benefit vaccine production and tourism. However, others warn about the possibilities of illegal trade of vaccine passports in the market due to lack of effective international policing. First, it was the International Air Transport Association creating a digital passport to verify passengers' pre-travel tests or that vaccination meets the requirements of their destination. The IATA Travel Pass has been developed as 4 independent modules that can interact with each other. Now to the United States, where United Airlines released a mobile app that allows customers upload test results and vaccine records. The Travel Ready Center also lets flyers review COVID-19 requirements for their destinations. The European Union's Digital COVID Certificate (EU-DDC) has become effective on July 1st, with a total of 21 EU member states and 3 non-EU Schengen area countries already implementing the certificates up till June the 30th.
The Digital COVID Certificate was meant to simplify operations. Unfortunately, we're not quite there yet, as a consequence of the lack of united European restrictions, so the same restrictions for all Schengen citizens. We are not really helped by the certificate. The thing is, if we scan the certificate, we would see that it's a valid QR code, but as long as we don't have the content of that QR code linked to the destination the passenger is traveling to, it doesn't really help us. So we cannot really scan the code at this moment, and we still need to perform all the checks visually to see if the passenger meets the requirement of his destination.
Well, we strongly advise people to thoroughly check what documents they need for their destination to get their vaccination proof or test certificate if they haven't been fully vaccinated. And we expect that most people will be well informed. We do all that we can to inform them on our website, on our social media, and to make sure that they are aware of what is required.
China has been negotiating with some partners to mutually recognize health certification for travelers. The certificate issued by China will have details about the holder's COVID-19 vaccination information and coronavirus test results. Qatar Airways has become the first airline to integrate vaccination certificates with International Air Transport Association's digital passport mobile application. IATA's Travel Pass, aimed to help revive international air travel squeezed by pandemic curbs, manages and verifies the secure flow of necessary testing or vaccine information amongst governments, airlines, laboratories, and travelers. The Travel Pass has been developed so as to ensure that passengers get all updated information on COVID-19 health regulations for their destination country. Moreover, this app will also provide test results with the airlines in order to verify the flying status of passengers. Several leading global airlines like Singapore Airlines, Emirates, Etihad, and Air New Zealand have already signed up for IATA's Travel Pass.
We're grateful to God that IATA, being the global body, they are championing it so that they can restore confidence in the passengers, they can restore confidence in airlines, they can restore confidence in the government, because the government is responsible for the citizens of their country. The airlines want to be sure that they are not transmitting the disease further to other countries, and the passengers want to feel comfortable that while they are on board, they are not exposed to any health hazard. So as it is, IATA is coming up with a lot of initiative, and this initiative will help everyone. That creates a platform where informations are being gathered and it becomes reliable. And it's a digital platform. So the idea of taking my COVID test to the airport for it to be verified whether it's valid or it's not valid becomes completely irrelevant. I, as an airline, just need to visit a particular portal where I can get that information once it is loaded there, and I can rely on it that it is genuine. We won't have a choice because we will not be operating in isolation. I've had the opportunity of taking the vaccine. Thank you to federal government for that opportunity. And I can say to you that if you've gone through the process of the vaccine, you will understand the effort that is being put into it. There's a digital platform for all those that are taking the vaccine, whereby you are registered, they have all your details, which is being uploaded on a particular platform, your picture, everything is there. And there's a barcode that all they need to do is to scan that barcode, and every information of mine will reveal there whether I've truly taken the vaccine or not. The only thing IATA is trying to do is to create a global platform that will be authentic and reliable for government, passengers, and airlines to key into it. Just for instance now, I'm here selling tickets of different airlines around the world. The airline will not say, oh, they might not even know me in person, but they know that, yes, I'm an IATA agent, I'm registered with them, I'm fulfilling all my obligations. They are relying on the fact that there's a platform which is enabling me to trade. So it might be a little bit difficult before it gets to Africa, but that is what future travel is going to be. And I can say that if not for the pandemic that happened, we might find it difficult for the technology that's been introduced now that simplifies travel going forward. Because if travel is not simplified, it will be difficult for us to go back to where we are before the pandemic. There's absolutely nothing new that is being done. The only difference now is that you are giving it on a different platform. For instance, if I get to Heathrow today, I'm being asked to do my fingerprints. They will take my biometrics. Have I not released that information to them? They will do my eye scan. Have I not revealed information to them? So there are so many other things that are being revealed at the entry border. Willingly, because at that particular point in time, I'm the one that has solicited to go into that particular country. So now creating a platform does not make it any different. Rather, the process has just been simplified. And when the process is simplified, it does not make we, the travelers, vulnerable. And that's the truth. As long as the platform that is being given to us is a secured platform.
In the desert just north of Las Vegas, a long white metal tube sits at the base of the mountains. It may look like a Vegas attraction, but it is the base of operations for Virgin Hyperloop, a magnetic levitation form of transport that Virgin hopes will revolutionize the way people travel. Virgin Hyperloop is a transport system which pushes a pod floating through magnetism down an almost air-free vacuum tunnel to its destination.
1, launch.
In November, the company successfully completed its first manned passenger ride with the company's CEO Josh Gergel and Director of Passenger Experience Sarah Lucian being the willing guinea pigs to be propelled down a 500-meter tunnel. Although a tight space, the pod is designed to feel bigger by using off-white materials and a black mirror. Gergel said that it was important to make the design approachable rather than comfortable to try and allay passengers' fears of using the device for the first time.
This is a new type of transportation system. So this pod was really the embodiment of how do we take something that is an idea and make it into something that's a reality for us to sit in, but also something that's inviting and can inspire where we're going from a 2-passenger pod to ultimately the 28-passenger pod and show that connection from our first prototype all the way to the commercial system that we're building today.
Virgin says riding the Hyperloop will be a smooth experience.
It'll feel like an aircraft at takeoff, and once you're at speed, you won't feel anything despite going at these, airline speeds. You won't even have turbulence because our system is basically completely able to react to all that turbulence. Think like noise canceling, but just bump canceling, if you will. And that means that you have a coffee, you have a drink, whatever. It won't spill. You won't have any kind of side-to-side motions because we can bank, we can turn like a plane. And it's going to be an environment and experience that really is unlike anything other than before, but far more comfortable than any of the other types of modes out there.
The 28-passenger pod will differ from the prototype at the Las Vegas site, not only in its size, but in the fact that it will use magnetic push from the top rather than from underneath the pod. In the future, Virgin Hyperloop could have an array of functions from fast, long and short distance travel to transportation of commercial goods. Virgin Hyperloop is already working on developing passenger routes in India, where the transport system is overloaded, and in Saudi Arabia, where there currently isn't the infrastructure.
The future of Hyperloop travel is real, and the moment is now.
The pod is about to be moved from the Nevada location to be displayed to the public at the Smithsonian Historic Arts and Industries Museum's Futures exhibition.
When Aviation This Week returns, our feature for the week is next.
A flight simulator is a device that artificially recreates aircraft flight and the environment in which it flies for pilot training, design, or other purposes. It includes replicating the equations that govern how aircraft fly, how they react to applications of flight controls, and how the aircraft reacts to external factors such as air density, turbulence, and wind shear. In the East African country of Kenya, a Dash 8 Q400 simulator has been installed to help train pilots. It's a move its main user, Kenya's first low-cost airline, Jambojet, hopes will help it cut costs incurred by flying pilots abroad for training.
That's by international, the coordinates are correct.
The simulator in operation is based on a 2019 deal between FSI, Kenya Airways and Jambojet. Kenya Airways is the country's national carrier, while Jambo Jet is its no-frills subsidiary. FSI is among the world's leading producers of flight simulators.
So do you see where this arrow is?
Chief pilot Michael Kwinga of Kenya low-cost airline Jambo Jet climbs into a newly operational Flight Safety International -8400 simulator. After the required checks and under the watchful eye of Flight Inspector Joseph Strong, Kwinga takes off.
As you can tell, if I'm training to go to Dubai International, I can actually do it over here.
It has enhanced navigation system, it has enhanced visual system. So the learning experience for this particular simulator here in Nairobi is quite fulfilling. As a flight crew member also as well, who is based over in Nairobi, it means less travel time, obviously, for me to be able to quickly move from the working line operations and the line environment to come to their training environment at the ease of me just driving over here in Nairobi without having the extra travel, and be able to quickly turn around back onto the flight line to continue with normal flight operations.
Jambo Jet's new fleet of 5 de Havilland Canada DHC-8 aircraft, known as -8 around the world, are critical parts of the regional airline strategy to recover from the job and pay cuts it had to make as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. The blow to African airlines after the COVID-19 outbreak was forecast at $40 million by International Air Transport Association IATA last year. For Jambo Jet, the equipment is a cost saver.
Whenever the trainings are done outside, you end up having lower productivity because you have to the traveling time outside there, and even sometimes missing the slots. Sometimes to get the slots was quite difficult. So when it is in here, it brings in efficiencies. The cockpit crews, pilots' productivity is higher, and it's cheaper in terms of you don't pay any hotels, you don't pay any travel.
Kwinga and his colleagues will continue to train for the 6 destinations they currently fly to, and the company is making plans to expand its routes. Jambo Jet began operations in 2014, and its simulator agreement is also open for business to other industry players.
German company Volocopter performed the first flight of its electrical air taxi in France at a show in Le Bourget Airport near Paris, with the objective to have a service in operation for the Olympic Games in the country in 2024. The flying taxi, which looks like a tiny helicopter, took off and landed vertically over the Le Bourget Airport with no passenger on board during a 3-minute flight.
We do not sell Volocities to individual persons. In the city of the future, these will be shared assets that are professionally operated as a fleet. So you as a customer can then call a Volocity to come and pick you up when you need it, and you only pay for the flight. And as I said, with increasing volumes, we can offer these flights at the cost of a taxi today. So it should be possible to afford this experience for everyone who can order a taxi today.
It flew a 500 meters route at speeds up to 30 kilometers per hour and 30 meters high along the airfield, and has a luggage compartment and a capacity of 2 people on board. The flying taxi service would first operate with a pilot license, but makers expect the flight will be fully automated over a period of time.
Then you can easily exchange these battery packs. You know, it's interesting, when we started out, the first time the regulator came to visit us at our test field in southern Germany, he was like, so what do I put down as a requirement for the pilot? Because it's so simple to fly. Any kid can fly it. If you can operate an iPad, you can fly the Volocopter. And we were all laughing at the time, but he's right. So with respect to regulation, initially we will have a fully certified, fully licensed helicopter pilot, just to fit into existing regulation. But we believe over time it can be much simpler to obtain such an operating license for a Volocopter. And of course, in the last instance, we want to take a pilot requirement out, and we want these vehicles to fly fully automated. So you will not need a pilot license anymore. You can just summon the Volocopter, it will come and pick you up and bring you safely to your destination.
The urban mobility market is gigantic, and players say it's worth about $10 trillion or more. This counter at the Muritala Mohammed Airport 2 is unusually busy as passengers take the opportunity of IBOM Air's inaugural flight to make their way to Port Harcourt on a new aircraft. the Airbus 220-300. Once guests are seated, the aircraft is on its way, and in 1 hour, the Port Harcourt International Airport Omagua is in sight. After passengers deplane, the Chief Operating Officer of the airline and the Commissioner of Transport in Rivers State take a tour of the aircraft.
But if we do the walk around, it's just this one. Okay.
Then a special rendition and dance to welcome everyone to the Garden City. And a formal exercise signaling the airline's entry. The Rivers State government and the airline are glad to be partners in progress.
The government and people of Rivers State wholeheartedly welcome IBOM Air to Rivers State. It is going to increase on the commercial activity and ease of doing business for people who will be traveling in and out of Port Harcourt.
You can plan with our schedule, you can rely on our departure times, and you get excellent service when you come through with IBOM Air. So based on those three things, we focus on those three things. Passengers keep coming because they like them. And that's how we're going to get our piece of the action here. Port Harcourt has capacity, we believe. The first flight was already about 90% load factor. And the return flight is the same thing. So we expect that Port Harcourt will provide the kind of loads that will justify the use of this aeroplane.
For these Akwa Ibom State indigenous and gospel artists, it's good to see a state doing business with great coordination.
At a time where there's been so much negative reports in the media, all the banditry, terrorism, the economy and all, to see that, and then the pandemic, to see that all of this is being birthed, at the same time is a huge sign and token of hope that Nigeria can rise, Nigeria can shine, and above all, to see this coming from my home state, in quote, small Akwa Ibom State, is a joy for me. They can't drop the ball, so my prayer for them is that they go in that might and improve, continually improve and just make things better and better.
Other passengers are excited to see another airline on this busy route.
The more the airlines we have, the more the service is beautiful for us. And we're excited we have IBOM Air. I've flown them from Abuja before, and it was a wonderful experience. So I was excited when I heard they were coming into town.
We commend the people and government of Akwa Ibom State. We also wish that other states would also take a cue and prove the world different, that as Nigerians we can actually manage businesses, we can start businesses, manage it and bring it to an enviable height.
The launch of the Port Harcourt flights from Lagos and Abuja is part of IBOM's Air ongoing expansion program, and this route brings to 6 the total number of destinations for the carrier. This is where we disembark on this flight. It's bye for now. I'm Bukola Joe Oketumbi.